Good morning, Greg here. Burning both ends. Burning on the front end of Sunday. It's July 1st, 2018, 6:21 a.m. Pacific. Half of 2018 is in the books, and I thought today was a great day to do a traditional type post with an outline. And so today we're going to talk about self-auditing and a very simple method for a quick and easy self-audit, even though I guess self-auditing shouldn't be quick and easy. But this is, the method's quick and easy, but it's not simple. I'll say it that way. Because the answer to these questions is, could take a while. You might have to go deep to do it, which is important. And so I've been practicing Gary Vaynerchuk's kind of self-audit, self-awareness model that he pushes. I'm a big fan of that. And one very simple method to execute this is with 3 simple questions. Ask yourself, what's working in my life? What's not working in my life? And what should I be doing better, right? What needs a little tweak? And I'll tell you where this came from. So, as you probably know, I'm a big fan of T. Harv Eker. He's been a huge influence in my life. I took my first seminar with him back in 2006. Definitely changed my game, changed my outlook. Since then, I've taken several of his seminars, and one that I really enjoyed, something called shiny Ultimate Leadership Camp, 2008, September 2008. I took that actually right before I quit my job and started my aerospace business. And actually that seminar was, I got up on stage, and that's when it kind of came out of me that I really did not want to stay in my current job. This is back in 2008, and I wanted to take this bold step. And it was kind of cool how it came out. I was up in front of the entire group, and I was talking about something, and it just kind of, I forget, it just kind of came out that I was blaming my boss, and I should have been just making a bold decision and taking a leap, and that's what came out. So it was pretty cool. And one of the most valuable nuggets of wisdom from this camp were these 3 questions. It was a recommended way to give feedback, right? They have one step in their leadership model is obviously feedback, and the way that they do it is with these 3 questions: what worked, what didn't work, what can we do better? And I really like this model, and so I'm going to apply it to myself this morning. I figure half of 2018 is in the books. Been elevating my game this year, really doing some things drastically differently. So how's it going? How's it working? How can I tweak? How can I make sure that the second half of 2018 is as slamming as the first half? I have to say I'm so thrilled at where I'm at, where I started in January, and where I'm at today. And I just want to make sure that I just keep this going, keep this progress going, keep building, keep growing, all these things, keep pushing myself. And so that's the whole point of today's post. And so let's just go over the questions again, not that it's so challenging. So what worked, what didn't work, what can we do better? The key thing there is starting with a positive message, and think of this as giving someone else feedback, right? It's a little different when I'm giving myself feedback, but giving someone else feedback, it's important to start with a positive, because it brings people in, it creates connection, it shows the folks that I'm giving feedback to that I care enough to find out what they're doing right. I mentioned this the other day with leadership. Leadership can be tough because it's very easy to see what someone didn't do, right? That's an infinite list. There is infinitely many things that I did not do for this specific project to get it done. But what did I do to get it done? What good things, what positive things? How did I complete the project? How did I get some answers? How did I get results? It takes more digging as a leader to figure that out. And so when I'm starting with what worked, it shows folks that I care. I'm putting that effort in to find out what they did that's great, and I'm probably learning something, because it's probably something that I wouldn't have done, or maybe I wouldn't have done it in that way. So it's as a leader, it forces me to understand my people better, which is great. I mean, it's okay, so I would have done this way, you did it that way. Let me see why that way worked. Maybe it didn't work. Maybe it worked 10 times better than my way. Maybe I should learn that method. I find that type of leader, that's being of service, in my opinion. Okay, so we talk about what worked. We start with the positive, and then we get into what didn't work. What should we just throw away? Because that's important too, right? And so, reduce, simplify, right? I have, if I can throw a couple of things away that are cluttering up what I'm working on, then that's a type of organization. And you know how much I love organization, right? With organization comes clarity. With clarity, the ability to sequence. I can plan, I can get into action. That's critical. Getting into action is critical. And if I can remove things to look at, to ponder, that's a shorter path to getting into action. And purging, in my opinion, is always a good thing. Just can only help things, because we just have a tendency to just clutter sometimes. And then the final piece is what needs a tweak. What should we keep but is not quite working great right now, and we can just give it a little tweak or a little fix, and we can get it. Now better is the enemy of good enough. We got to be concerned about that. So making just things better just because, we got to be careful. It should be, this is where I have real feedback that shows me that this is where I'm kind of falling off on this process. This is where it's disengaging, and if I do this instead on step 8, then I'll stay engaged and blah, 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 blah. So that's, very important that we're not just looking to make things better. I should have some real good feedback. I should have like a feedback loop that's telling me where I'm falling off. So critical. All right, so let's get into this, right? Oh yeah, last thing about the tweak and the fix, some nice little mantras, right? This is this continuous improvement thing. You'll hear this in manufacturing. Correct and continue, that's one of T. Harv's things. And then this is all about leveraging experience, right? I've been going through this process. This is my experience with the process. This is how I think we should tweak it to make it, to make it more efficient or more effective, right? So this is this leveraging experience thing. And in the tweaking process, I may make it better, check. I may make it worse, interesting, right? Now maybe I should throw it away. Maybe I should take away that tweak and do it the way I was doing it before. So anyway, a lot of interesting things that, about the fixing part of this. This third question. That's probably like the most dangerous one. So that's got to be careful with that one, because maybe what you're tweaking should be purged. That's just the only thing. Or maybe it's working as best as it possibly can because it involves 3 other teams and 6 other people, and this is, you've been doing it for 3 years, and this is the best you've seen it perform so far. And even though it's tempting to tweak it, maybe because so much work has been done, it should just be left alone, right? I mean, so it's so critical to really dig deep. Like I said, this is easy but not simple, or simple but not easy, right? Yeah, simple but not easy, right? It's challenging to really address these questions. So let me do it for myself right now. Okay, so 2018, first 6 months, what is working? So what's definitely working, I'd have to say this. There it is. This is definitely working. It's keeping me focused on the big goals and the small goals, because part of this is looking at big dreams and short-term goals. It's looking at gratitude. It's looking at why I'd like to build wealth. Like, what are the specific things that I would be doing differently if I was wealthy? I'm a big believer that, right, wealth, in my opinion, right, money is a metric, right? It's important, but it's a metric. It's after we can pay all of our bills, excuse me, it's just a way to measure, different types of success in the business world, right? And there are certain things that I need money for, obviously. Like to pay my rent, I need money. To put gas in my car, I need money. It'd be great if it wasn't like that, but that's how the modern world is. And so I'm realizing that, and I'm realizing that building wealth is important, because it leads to a lot of other things. And so just to some of my, actually, I will look right in here. Let's take some time here. I forget how many days ago I did this. Actually, yeah, just yesterday we did the purpose for money. So list 5 to 10 specific and important things for which you want more money. And so for me, it's I love to buy a house, right? We're renting. I'd love to just have that stability and buy a house. I'd like us to travel more. I'd like to bring my kids around the world and show them a lot of places other than where we live. Family is another one I got. I want to visit family more. I find that it's very challenging for me to visit my family because we're scattered and it's just expensive, especially with a family of 4. Education for me, for my wife, for my kids. Just I want to be able to put them in exciting classes and fun classes. Like my oldest is learning Mandarin right now. I'd love to get her in like an immersion class on a weekend. I'd love to create a space where my wife could work part-time. I know that her full-time job stresses her out, as it does for most of us, and it'd be great to get her in a spot where she could work part-time, and maybe even move in a direction where she's working, where she's doing volunteer work or working toward one of her passions. I know right now I don't think that she is, and it'd be great to get her in that direction. I want baseball. I used to play baseball. I love to get back into like one night a week in some like summer league or something. But I would love to be able to do that, and I find that right now I'm really focusing on burning both ends and building my brand and building wealth that I want to get to a point where I can do the baseball thing, where I can free up some time. I feel that, I think I could right now if I really wanted to, but it's just not a high enough priority right now to play some baseball. Music, I love music. I'd love to do more music, write more music, more drum beats, go see more shows, these kinds of things. And then invest. I'd love to, be in a spot where I can write checks and I can invest and I can bring ideas to the forefront, because I'm not an idea person, but I am a execution operations person. So anyway, so that this 90-day thing is working. I have the burn at both ends thing is working. This posting twice a day, it really pushes me. It pushes me to stay aligned with my goals and what I'm pursuing here. Well, what else is working is the storytelling, just meeting people, telling stories and seeing where synergies come. LinkedIn is working really well. This I-Corps program is working really well. What got me to the I-Corps program? It was just meeting people, telling my story. And then also, I have to say, and this is a risky one, but I'll say it, is, I meet someone that really inspires me, and they give me advice, and I'll just take that advice without questioning it sometimes. Because it seems so good. Like, for example, when I was at lunch with a gentleman, I think it was back in December, and he recommended that I join this team and we do I-Corps, the long I-Corps. I just took that advice blindly. I knew I wanted to do the program. I knew that the folks that had that technology, that they were really good, and I had met them before. So there were a bunch of good pieces around this that enabled me to take this blindly. But once he said that, I was like, you know what, that's a really good idea, and it was just head down and do it. And T. Harv has this thing where he's like, don't think, and I think this is part of that. It's really successful person gave me some really good advice. It aligned with something I already wanted to do. So now it's like, all right, shut up and just do it, right? Because that's when, and I guess this is when kind of the voices in the head will convince me otherwise. So that's definitely working. Let's see what else is working. I think that's pretty good. What else is working is, the burn at both ends is also enabling this family time to happen, which I'm really digging. Even though I'm working real hard, working harder than I've ever worked in my life, I still have a lot of time for the family. And because I put these hours in outside of family so much, I can focus and be present with the family when I'm there. So I really dig that. All right, so here, what's not working? So what's not working is this, and this is probably the number one thing, is my addictions, right? So I've been having some success. I think a big piece to me starting on this starting in this direction was I put my addictions to the side, and things were going well, and I have to admit it was really helping my self-confidence Having this self-discipline was helping my self-confidence. And since I've had some successes, I've been having a little bit more fun, and the addictions have been creeping back in. And so today I'm squashing that, putting them back in the locked up, or whatever you want to say, putting the addictions back in the black hole, or wherever they go where I don't touch them. So and just to be very honest and fair with myself, this is not a huge issue. It's just I've noticed that they've kind of snuck back in, and that it's starting to pull away from my focus, and I don't want that. So we are going to throw those away. We're going to purge those. And anything else that I should really purge at this point? I don't think so. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that's really getting in my way, because it's distracting. It's taking me away from my focus items, and and it's just not helpful. So what can we do better? I was gonna have a drink, and I just put it right down without having a drink. What can we do better? What can we do better? This is a tough one. I think what we can do better is this concept of, when I don't want to hammer on a project, I hammer on a project, and really doing the things that are important, not necessarily the things I want to do. Right? Now, how do I do that? The success journal is working really well. I'm going to keep that going, and I have to admit, since I've been doing that, it's really been helping out with this mild problem, because it's not a huge problem, but it's a mild problem. This I'm having fun, so I'm doing the things that are fun, as opposed to maybe the things I really need to just do. And so I think that what I'm going to do better is I'm going to keep the success journal in place. It's really helping. It's really keeping a lot of things on my radar that typically fall off. These little tasks, these little things, that just keep these little wheels spinning. So I want to keep those going. And I think that's probably the big, success journal. Keep the success journal in place, and keep it with the 1 week chunk. I like that. And we'll see how that goes. And I think that's going to do a lot. Oh yeah, something else that I need to do better is, I used to listen to these motivational mashups on YouTube in the morning when I got up, and for some reason I stopped doing that. I forget why exactly, but I want to get back into doing that, because I really enjoyed that, and it really kind of got me going in the morning while I'm making my coffee. That 10 minutes or so, I get to listen to whomever say some good motivational stuff. So I want to get back into that, and I will choose to do that. So that's another what can I do better, is bring that back in. So yeah, so that's my self-audit. Really excited about the second half of the year, and yeah, so I mean, things are going really well. I have to say, I'm so glad that I'm just in this burn at both ends space. I'm elevating my game. I'm so glad that I'm doing this. This is really, I mean, I can look back at the first half of the year and be like, wow, it's unbelievable how far I've come in just 6 months. And so imagine what another 5 years will do. Infinite game. Gotta be playing the infinite game. In the infinite game, I'm already there. Right? I'm already exactly where I want to be. So it's just a matter of staying on the path. And yeah, so I will wrap there. And this channel is all about my experience as an aspiring entrepreneur. These are the things I'm doing, essentially what worked, what didn't work, and what I need to do better. And I thought this was a pretty healthy self-audit. I'm looking forward to executing what I just spoke about, and just crush it this second half of the year. And it starts with today. So it starts with July 1st. And yeah, so comment down below, subscribe, ask me questions. I'd love to be of service. That's a big piece of what I'm doing, is I want to be of service. I find that that's important leadership quality. And so please ask me questions, ask me for help. I'd love to try to help as best as I can. And yeah, and then I also, in the description, you'll find some motivational links. You'll find some good music down there. You'll find the outline for today's talk. You will find a link to Ents. Ents is this voice-based social media platform that I've been using. I'm really excited about that. And yeah. And then, oh yeah, the beat in the background. G Money's my alter ego. I've been drumming for a few decades. I write these beats. Check them out on SoundCloud. You might dig them. There's all different styles there. And that'll do it for today. So have a great July 1st. Go out, inspire folks, do great things, crush it, and I will see you tonight.